It was Thursday, July 28, 1977, when photographer Greg Crowder's concert review was published on the local newspaper. The timing, though, couldn't be worse, just 2 days after Carrick Plant's passing, with Peter Grant announcing the immediate cancellation of the 1977 tour on July 27th. By the time Arizona readers got their hands on the review, Led Zeppelin would never come back to America. According to Crowder's recollections, their show in Tempe, Arizona was supposed to begin at 8 p.m., but was delayed until 9 p.m. Robert Plant had, quote, some early voice problems, and Jimmy Page appeared to have a severe case of road fever. The critic later stated Page's skill was amazing considering how completely wasted he appeared to be on stage. The text comments on Plant being nearly a parody of himself, and some fans disappointed Led Zeppelin did not perform any numbers from their first 2 albums. To everyone's surprise, the band left after Stairway to Heaven, with Bonzo's cymbals nowhere to be found as Robert sang his closing lines. The concert's bad reputation has grown over the years, with fans calling the performance reckless, embarrassing, and forgettable. I will try to answer the recurring question on countless forums: is this really the worst Led Zeppelin performance, or was it just too hot? A show that lives in the middle of 2 highly publicized dates being Seattle and Oakland. There in the dark, on the basement floor of the Zeppelin archives, lies our topic for today's episode. One of the band's last concerts on the infamous third leg in July. This is the making of Tempe 1977. Just on the northern part of Arizona State University lies the ASU Activity Center, nowadays known as Desert Financial Arena, after Desert Financial Credit Union bought the rights in 2019. Where the old Sun Devil Gym hosted basketball games, a decision was made in the spring of 1974 to follow the footsteps of venues like Capitol Center, hosting a wide variety of sporting matches, as well as profitable music concerts. The UAC, as the locals call it, opened its doors on April 29, 1974. Sports included men's and women's basketball, volleyball, gymnastics, and wrestling. The first rock show was played on October 8th that same year, with Blood, Sweat and Tears promoting their Mirror Image album. Things slowly warmed up in 1975, with Pink Floyd on April 20th for their Wish You Were Here tour, playing their second date in Arizona after Tucson the day before. Elton John paid a visit on October 3rd for his Rock of the Westies tour, and like Pink Floyd, he also played Tucson, Arizona on the 1st, followed by a show in Las Vegas, before arriving at the Activity Center. 1976 had 4 concerts with Olivia Newton-John on March 26th, Neil Diamond cashing in his world tour efforts on April 3rd, the Eagles on October 15th for a very special show featuring the first live performance of Hotel California. Yes, the first of 1,159 times the band has played it at the time of making this video. And just for the record, they didn't use any playback back in 1976. Now, the last show for the year was Eric Clapton on November 19th for his No Reason to Cry tour, in support of his 4th solo studio album by the same name. Fun fact, Clapton had reasons to cry as the record tanked at 95,000 copies, ranking at number 312 for 1976. Both his 1975 albums followed a similar fate. Eric Clapton would have a major comeback the next year, 1977, with Slow Hand selling 3.4 million units. So back to the ASU Activity Center. 1977 was one of the busiest concert years of the decade for the venue, with 15 shows. Now you may be wondering, why wasn't Tempe, Arizona more popular with promoters? Well, 3 words: Tucson Convention Center. Its 70 stats show an average 30 concerts per year, with every name in the rock and roll business playing there. The drawing power of this 9,000 ticket holder capacity theater was heavy competition for Tempe. I'm amazed they actually built the Activity Center knowing Tucson was so popular. Fun fact, Led Zeppelin played their last date of their North American tour of 1972 here, on June 28th. That's one day after their Long Beach Arena show, where portions were extracted for How the West Was Won. Tucson Convention Center for 1977 had 46 shows, with the majority of acts hustling their way into becoming top dogs of the circuit. You had your Steve Miller bands, America, Boston, Bad Company with Dave Edmunds, Rockpile, ZZ Top, Kiss, you get the idea. So Led Zeppelin's Tempe, Arizona show was the second of 11 concerts scheduled for the band's third and final leg of their massive North American comeback of 1977. You can check my two-part series on their Seattle Kingdom performance here on the channel, as it was just one day before Arizona. Past their Seattle visit, the band had 2 days off before heading out to Tempe on their Boeing 707 Caesar's Chariot. For the roadies though, it was a nasty driving marathon of 1,000 miles or 21 hours and 40 minutes on the highway, sharing the wheel and maybe, just maybe, staying awake with recreational powders. For local Tempe residents, Led Zeppelin's visit was long overdue, as the band was to play Sun Devil Stadium back in August 27, 1975, but were forced to cancel because of Robert Plant's car accident. In no way a consolation prize, but music lovers at least got their local stadium to serve as backdrop for A Star Is Born, with Barbra Streisand and a cast of rock bands playing a small festival on March 20th, 1976, in front of 40,000 fans, the biggest gathering at Tempe at that point. Now guess the location for Tempe's ASU Activity Center, right next to Sun Devil Stadium. Crazy, huh? It begs the question, why didn't Zeppelin play the stadium instead of the indoor activity center? I checked the records and the college football season didn't start until September, and Led Zeppelin was a hot concert ticket in 1977. I'm sure they could have filled the stadium. Tempe, Arizona was the closest fans in New Mexico and Colorado could get to their heroes. But of course, maybe there wasn't enough money on the promoter's side of things to add the necessary PA requirements for an outdoor show at Sun Devil Stadium. A July 14th article talked about preparations for Led Zeppelin's upcoming Activity Center show, with 40% more security staff than previous concerts, over reports in other cities of violent crowds trying to get Zeppelin tickets, and just the general mayhem that comes with a visit from the kings of British rock. An army of local student monitors were given the task to patrol the building, looking for people without tickets trying to start a riot, as well as guarding the stage. Less than 1,000 tickets remained just 6 days before Zeppelin's visit. One of the biggest fears of the University Activity Center was the presence of non-students trashing the place. July 20th, 1977 began with a tragic flood in Jonestown, Pennsylvania. The Laurel Run Dam collapsed at 2:35 a.m. as a result of heavy rains. 100 million gallons of water killed 40 people who were mostly asleep at the time of the disaster. Although Laurel Run Dam's deficiencies were reported back in the 60s, no action was taken into repairing the spillway design and stability issues. In music news, 3 albums were just 2 days away from being released. Giorgio Moroder's iconic From Here to Eternity, recorded at Musicland Studios Munich, Leif Garrett's Unforgettable debut, and Elvis Costello's My Aim Is True. Led Zeppelin roadies plus local technicians started to build the stage at midnight on Tuesday, July 19th. By Wednesday, 8 a.m., lighting and speakers were set up. Everything was done by 4 p.m. The sound check was played by the band's technicians, and it was finished right before the actual show, which was originally set for March 6th, 1977, but had to be rescheduled because of Robert's laryngitis back in February. Now, concert schedule for the ASU Activity Center had America on March 9th, Elvis Presley on March 23rd, and ZZ Top on June 9th for their worldwide Texas tour of 1977. Now let's discuss Led Zeppelin's setlist for July 20th at Tempe. It's worth mentioning the complete show is not available as a bootleg, but an incomplete audience recording starting from the Battle of Evermore on. Based on first-hand recollections by fans in online forums, we can confirm the first 7 songs being identical to the band's Seattle Kingdom show. Now, Tempe was one of 4 shows where no drum solo was performed, the other ones being both Oakland Coliseum gigs and San Diego Sports Arena, where Bonham seemed to be dazed and confused. Tempe is also infamous for no encores. The band pretty much left in a hurry after Stairway to Heaven. Now, to their defense, something happened that evening that may have influenced the band calling it quits. Just before they switched gears for the acoustic set, a wall of nasty firecrackers was thrown. The real issue, though, happened on the first bars of Achilles' Last Stand. A flash effect plus a loud explosion blew up in Jimmy's face, which allegedly threw him off. He was and allegedly raised a closed fist at a roadie. From this point until the end of Stairway to Heaven, no Zeppelin bandmate was in the mood for a melody. As you know, I usually talk about the wardrobe stats for the band in these concert retrospectives, but Tempe has one problem. There's only 5 known photographs from the show. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We can only guess on what Jones and Bonham wore, but we can talk about Robert and Jimmy. Plant used the same blouse that can be seen on the Seattle Kingdom video, and Oakland July 23rd. Page, on the other hand, went for a first and only time black vest, plus his signature dragon pants. It was quite a unusual choice for the 1977 tour that featured Jimmy wearing his white poppy suit on most dates. Now, Jimmy wore the black dragon pants on May 28th, Capitol Center, June 22nd at the Forum, and Oakland July 23rd. Seattle Kingdom was the first concert after their last date at the LA Forum on June 27th. The offstage time was dangerous for some of the personal lifestyle choices floating in the Zeppelin Corporation. They were getting back in shape. Their southwestern United States destination was a necessary preparation for everything that was planned through August. One can only hope they stay properly hydrated on the job. So without further ado, let's go back to Tempe, Arizona on Wednesday, July 20th, 1977 for a musical analysis of that performance. Weather conditions for that day had 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 Celsius around 8 p.m. with 20% humidity. The Zeppelin landed on Terminal 2 at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, with Terminal 3 under construction since January 1977. A 9-minute limo drive had the band ready for showtime. Note, there's a strange musical bleed effect in Stairway to Heaven on the bootleg. It seems to have Freeze All Right Now on top, so I will skip some parts of this song. Alright, let's go. The audience reaction in Arizona was negative, with many people saying that Zeppelin didn't eat their Wheaties. John Bonham's drum solo spot never returned to the stage after its absence at Tempe. Neither the Knepworth 1979 concerts nor the 1980 tour of Europe featured his showcase. Past the show in Arizona, Led Zeppelin headed out to San Francisco for another 2-day break before playing their final US shows in Oakland, which were hampered by backstage violence and subsequent legal implications. The ASU Activity Center's concert schedule for 1977 continued with Frank Zappa on September 8th, with a lineup of Terry Bozzio, Ed Mann, Tommy Mars, Patrick O'Hearn, Peter Wolf, and newcomer Adrian Belew, given the chance of a lifetime before leaving Frank Zappa in '78 for David Bowie. Okay, let's continue. The Grateful Dead were next on October 6th, followed by the Doobie Brothers on the 18th. Ted Nugent and Nazareth rocked Arizona on November 3rd. Aerosmith followed on November 22nd. Last show of the year at the Activity Center was played on December 7th, on a perfect show for rock fans to take their girlfriends or meet someone special. Rod Stewart and Air Supply. 1978 had 8 shows at ASU Tempe, including Emerson & Palmer's Works Tour, Yes, and Bob Dylan. 1979 was the busiest year for the venue, with 20 performances to finish off the decade, including a rare appearance by one of my personal favorites, prog supergroup UK, on April 2nd, next to Ambrosia and Jethro Tull. ABBA played one of their final US shows on September 23rd, filled with the hits and the pop masterclass only the Swedish quartet could deliver. Robert Plant returned to the ASU Activity Center Tempe some 11 years after Led Zeppelin on June 11, 1988, for his very successful Non-Stop Go tour in support of Now and Zen. He revisited 2 Zeppelin numbers from 1977 in the ways of Black Country Woman and Trample Underfoot. Jimmy Page was also back in Arizona in 1988, but this time at the Mesa Amphitheater, which is just a 14-minute drive from the ASU Activity Center. Page and Plant played Phoenix, Arizona's America West Arena in 1995 and 1998. This is a 17-minute drive from the Activity Center. John Paul Jones also played Arizona on his 2001 Thunder Thief tour, this time at the Webb Theater, some 3 blocks from Page and Plant's last visit. I hope you enjoyed this episode and stick around for the next destination. Now don't forget to hit the like button, and also hit the like button. Please subscribe and recommend this to your friends, co-workers, and Zeppelin fans. Take care. Bye-bye.